Pick up your unforgettable box of French macarons from Nicolette's Macarons in Plymouth. Nicolette's is conveniently located off Highway 169 and 36th Avenue. Stop in at the store or place your order online at nicolettesmacarons.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Broadcasting live on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. In the evenings on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk. In the nighttime hours in Seattle, 1150 AM KKNW, where they are still, I imagine, partying. And, of course, on BAM, Blue Amp Media at blueamp.co on Substack. It is the Matt McNeil Show for your Monday. Good to be with you today. Matt and Patrick here today. Guest-free. Welcome. Bon appetit. Patrick, how are we today?
I'm doing all right. Did you have a good weekend?
I did. I did a lot of stuff today this weekend. I went out to the Luminary Lopit over on Lake of the Isles on Saturday. Saw that absolutely wonderful tribute they did to Renee Good and Alex Preddy. So that was quite nice, and to get out in the city and see once again a city basically say we're not going to hide in our houses like ICE wants us to and the Republican Party wants us to. I went and saw Macbeth over at the Guthrie yesterday, which was quite nice. Have you watched Macbeth? Have you ever seen that one?
Not live, no.
No, they got a body count in that one. It's there's a lot of broken promises in that one. I will say exceptional. The Guthrie Theater here in town does a great job with that stuff, and that was good fun. So not so much for King Duncan, not good fun for him or Macbeth, really. I mean, at the end of it, but still overall good stuff. And then, of course, there was Super Bowl. Your thoughts, Patrick, on the bowl that was super?
Well, it was pretty boring for most of the game.
Reminder, we are on the air in Seattle here. Hey, how about those Seahawks, man?
Well, I had quipped to you on Friday, I thought going in Seattle was just the better team.
They were.
And I think that pretty much was how that game went. I mean, New England's defense did a great job. They kept them in the game, but ultimately the Seahawks as a team, their defense was just completely suffocating. They were. Patriots offense just had no chance at all throughout the whole game. And then finally, Darnold, he didn't play very well, but he did enough, and that's all that mattered.
Yep, Sam Darnold. I will say this, Seattle, I mean, our loss, your gain. Sam Darnold, when he was here, was one of the nicest guys I've ever seen in this league. I mean, really was. Talk about a down-to-earth guy that was just never badmouth Minnesota. Really never badmouth any of the teams he came from. I don't think he liked the Jets too much, but I think he was a nice guy. And so, got to tell the truth, I was rooting for him just because he was such a nice guy. It's a good story. It's a great story. And if you listen to Friday's prediction segment, I picked it by 21. If not for that last touchdown, it would have been a 22-point game. So I'm a genius. Anyway, enough with that. Let's talk about everything else that happened with that game. First of all, the halftime show. Were you on Mago TV watching Kid Schlock?
I was fortunately not doing that.
Okay. I did not either, but I did watch a few clips of it later. Oh my God, was that atrocious. Oh God. I get it. The whole point was to sell Turning Point USA merch. I get it. That was the entire, that was everything. You were using the racist feelings of white MAGA that basically didn't like the fact that there's a minority, and so you did this travesty of entertainment, and you put this thing on, and it was really about selling Turning Point USA merch. It wasn't about quality. For God's sakes, Kid Rock was lip syncing the one song he did, and he just stopped at random times and stopped lip syncing. He just was holding the mic as he's singing and just, whatever. The fireworks display, as I said, that was straight out of Dollar General. My God, where did you get the streamers? Wow, those were sparklers from the discount bin, I see. And it was, and the crowd was, the crowd is really a generous term. There's like 200 people clearly in a place that was designed for a lot more people. It was bad. Meanwhile, Bad Bunny brings out Pedro Pascal. I mean, I'm sitting there. I'm like, my God, that guy in the background there looks like Pedro Pascal. And everyone's like, and I couldn't remember his name off the top of my head. So I was like, a Fantastic Four, Mr. Fantastic, the stretchy guy. And of course, no one else in my family really is into pop culture. So I'm like, okay. Mandalorian, no, you're not going to know that one. The Last of Us, nope, you're not going to get that one either. So, just look at that guy, you'll recognize him. Fantastic. That was a good cameo. Cardi B showed up too. I thought was kind of interesting. Lady Gaga, who, God, she was brilliant. That was just a great cameo. Lovely. And then Ricky Martin shows up. How great! And he looks fantastic. Oh my God, he looks fantastic. And yeah, it was amazing. I thought that was a great halftime show. Just absolutely stellar. And you want to know the truth is, that was one of the most American halftime shows you'll ever see, because it was America. It was this melting pot, not this fake, and trust me, this is going to be a theme of this hour, not this fake, what power idea of what America is. No, the diversity in the culture that is America. That's supposed to be America. As opposed to the white power rally you guys held over there. Bow, 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 bow. Dear Lord. Did I understand a word he said? Nope, I do not speak Spanish. Did I enjoy every second of it? Absolutely. More power. I'm sorry, you asked me if I was to sit there and see two stages and I see a bunch of white people around a guy like Kid Rock, who you're asking the question, is he okay? I mean, is that a human? Doing something up there. And I look over and I see, absolutely beautiful people over here dancing, twerking, and Pedro Pascal. Okay, where am I going? Done. And apparently that was where kind of the same mentality I think a lot of other people had, because the ratings are in. Well, I mean, they're not really, and they're kind of still trying to figure it out because there's streaming and all these other things. But at least 130 million people watched Bad Bunny and Lady Gaga. It's behind Kendrick Lamar, who was also fantastic last year. It's behind Kendrick Lamar, but depending on how they factor in the ratings, it actually could end up being the biggest Super Bowl halftime show of all time. 130 million people, which if I can, let me do a little thing called Matt's Math Corner, where I just do some quick math here. And yeah, I got to do it sideways because this is going to be a big number here, if I can. So this would be 130 million. And this is just the number they're saying right now, that it's not a final number. Divide that by the population of the United States, which is 335 million. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Equals, basically 39% of the country, 39% of the population, 39% of the population watched Bad Bunny. That's called a cultural moment. And by the way, I should mention, that is basically, got 130 million would be 30 plus 20. That's about 53 million more people than voted for Donald Trump. And by the way, Democrats, if you get half of those people to vote every time, guess what? The Republicans will be in charge of Mississippi and Idaho, and that's it. So, yeah. And that's why Trump hates it. And I'll get to Trump here in a little bit, but that's why he hates it, is because, his popular culture exposes how unpopular kind of he is, that he's way behind Bad Bunny at the halftime show. And that makes that little tiny man feel so inferior. He's such a tiny little man, aren't you? You little pathetic orange blob. Kid Rock, his white power jubilee, got about 5 million people. Let me do Matt's Math Corner on this one. Divided by the population of the United States, which is 335. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 equals, wow, a scorching 1% of the population, 1 whole percent, a little more than 1%, but still, if I'm rounding down, 1%. 1% of the population showed up to watch. Okay, does anyone else find it hilarious? They get upset at Bad Bunny because I don't understand what he's saying, and their lead singer was is he having a seizure? Have him bite a stick. He already is? Okay. But not according to cultural maven, finger on the pulse of what is hot in America today, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. As according to the Johnson, Kid Rock's alternative halftime show performance was one of the best moments in broadcast so far this year. Well, first of all, broadcast? What are you talking about? It was on like YouTube and Charlie Kirk's The Turning Point thing, and I think it was OAN 2.0 or 2.5 or something like that. It wasn't exactly out there. I mean, they were all upset because at the very last second, it got dumped off of Twitter because the NFL basically said, you guys want anything to do with the NFL ever again, you better pull this thing off, because the NFL did not want them there. So I'll size it up with the exceptional woman that is Casey Musgraves, the country music star, who mocked Kid Rock on social media Sunday, appearing to show her support for Bad Bunny's official halftime concert. Well, that made me feel more proudly American than anything Kid Rock has ever done, Musgraves wrote after the halftime performance. And it should be noted that, okay, so once again, what's funny is the entire argument they were putting forward before this is, oh, yeah, we're going to have more people watching our halftime show than Bad Bunny. This was your argument. This was your entire, we're gonna dominate the ratings. That was you. You didn't. And as a matter of fact, more than likely, you finished behind the Puppy Bowl, which is not a surprise. The Puppy Bowl is fantastic. I was enjoying watching the little puppy named Cheesecake yesterday. Every once in a while, I would flip over there. I mean, that first half was kind of garbage. So I'd flip over, and there's a little Cheesecake running around with the little toy. It was so cute. It's hot. Not Kid Rock. He wasn't cute, although he was running around with a dog toy for some reason. Anyway. Billy Bob Johnson, John Billy Gibson, Mary Kelly Jensen, Gibson Dollar Gibson, USA flag, Mr. USA flag. I mean, who is the lineup for that clown car brigade? Anyway, the last year, we do not have the official ratings for the Puppy Bowl, but last year the Puppy Bowl got 12.8 million people. And so far this year, Kid Rock, I don't think they pulled too much from I don't think there were many, 8-year-olds in this country, or myself, watching little puppies play. It was so cute. I don't think too many of those people said, and speaking of things that are attractive, let's see something that's incredibly unattractive, namely Kid Rock. No, not the cultural moment you guys thought it was, but it did give us a lot of jokes because you guys are freaking pathetic. It is the Matt McNeil Show.
Peace of mind shouldn't cost a fortune. We keep things simple at Schroman Law because we believe planning for your estate and end-of-life care shouldn't be stressful or expensive. Every client relationship starts with a free consultation so clients have the information they need before making important decisions. From there, we work closely with clients to ensure they are choosing the most efficient and cost-effective plans for their specific needs. Schedule a free consultation today at schromenlaw.com. That's SCHROMEN law.com.
Blue Man Group's North American Tour is coming to the State Theater February 13th through 15th. Dive into the thrilling Blue Man Group experience, a blend of captivating music, interactive art, and audience engagement. Blue Man Group creates a fun, disruptive, and out-of-the-ordinary atmosphere that exhilarates the senses and uplifts spirits for audiences of all ages. Tickets are on sale now at hennepinarts.org.
Hi, this is Frank Brown with Minuteman Press Uptown. It's election season. If you're campaigning for a candidate, your outreach needs top-quality union-printed materials, from direct mail and yard signs to door hangers, buttons, T-shirts, and flyers. Minuteman Uptown is your union shop to get people to the polls. We print everything. We'll keep your candidate top of mind, target your message with a laser focus, and maximize your voter turnout efforts. Get started today at mpuptown.com. That's mpuptown.com.
Hey, Chanhassen in Eden Prairie, it's Alex with Buzz Cut Mowing. Why wake up early, freeze, and shovel snow when I can handle it for you? I provide fast, reliable snow removal so your driveway and sidewalks stay clear, safe, and stress-free all winter long. Relax, enjoy your morning coffee, and let me do the heavy lifting. Visit buzzcutmowingmn.com today and make this winter easier, warmer, and worry-free with Buzz Cut Mowing, because nobody likes shoveling snow.
Hi, I'm Mary T. I'm a proud supporter of AM 950 because this station shares the values that I care about most: community, connection, and making a difference. Just like AM 950, I believe in using our energies, our resources, and our voices to lift up others. That's why I started the Mary T. Scholar Program at the University of Minnesota College of Education and Human Development, providing graduate students with internships internationally. For over the past 10 years, our students have served communities in Laos, Cambodia, Nepal, India, Cameroon, and Thailand, gaining experience and helping people in ways that really make a difference. Supporting AM 950 fosters conversation, awareness, and action in our communities. It's about shared values and believing that together we can make a difference. Visit marytinc.com to learn more about the work that we do.
It is the Matt McNeil Show. Thanks for being with us. 952-946-6205. I mean, it's, you guys look and say to yourselves, oh, we got 5 million people who watch. Now, that's what they're trying to do now. Is like they're trying to change the end zone for their victory by saying, well, we never said we were going to compete with the halftime show. Yes, you did. You guys thought you were going to drag everybody away because you thought everybody was like you. You got 5 million people. They got 130 million people. And you got 1% of the population. They got 39% of the population. And by the way, someone posted this, and I don't know this. Overnight, I guess on the Puppy Bowl was 11 million people watching. That's the overnight numbers. I don't know if that's true. That sounds about right. I mean, there were 12 million last year, so that should be there. So you finished way behind anything else. I mean, basically, it was infomercials and reruns was all you were competing against. And yeah, there you went. But don't act like this is some sort of things that people stopped. I mean, the Super Bowl Sunday is a salute to two things, and one of them is a salute to television. It is what we do. As a matter of fact, I mean, everything about the show you watch. You watch the halftime, you watch the games, you watch the pregame, you watch the postgame. Green Day was fantastic in there. I should mention Green Day was awesome. Very good performance from them. That hair, man, his hair. As a guy that just does not have that anymore. I'm more of a Skinner from the X-Files kind of guy at this point. The Armstrong's hair. That's a mane, my friend. That's Keith Richards-esque.
I thought he looked great for a guy being in his 50s.
Don't remind me, dude. I remember when that was that new young band out of California. Oh God. The commercials. Patrick, was any of the commercials? Did you really like any of the commercials yesterday?
None of them really stood out to me. No.
I will say, I will give an award for actually best commercial that is going to create business for you. That Ring, we're going to find your pet thing. That's a good idea. And a lot of people, I think it was on one of them. Was on the Independent? Might have been the Independent. They had that one ranked as the number one. No, it was Variety. Variety had that ranked as the number one ad from yesterday. The USA Today, I think, had it number 10 or 11. I thought that was just a good idea. You use the Ring cameras. If someone puts out a pet that's missing, you can use the Ring cameras to see if anyone sees the pet on their camera, and they can track down the pet, that is a really good idea. That is a stunningly good idea. And I think it's going to lead to Ring is going to end up getting a lot of business because of that idea. As a matter of fact, I'm actually thinking about getting one of those now.
I actually asked my mom, if you lose your cat, do you think the cat is big enough to get picked up on the camera? Because they only talked about dogs. So that was kind of my question. Well,
because dogs are kind of dopey and they'll kind of roll around in your yard. Cats are sleek and they'll stay up against the house. I don't know. But, needless to say, if it does catch them, if you have enough cameras looking, that's a good thing. So I thought the USA Today said the Budweiser one, and I think I got number 2 in the Variety one was the Budweiser one. It's just so contrived. And an eagle finds a horse that happens to be a Budweiser horse, and they become best friends. It's seriously, yeah. And then, of course, nothing size it up more than rural guys' repressed feelings. Are you crying? No, the sun just got in my eye. All right, you could just a little tear is beautiful. Off you go. Never end. I thought the Goodwill Duncan one was great. The 90s TV show. Ted Danson showing up for that one made me laugh. The Jurassic Park one I thought was great. What would happen if actually they never had a problem there and all of a sudden they all give the thumbs up for the park, which I thought was pretty good. Hemsworth doing the Alexa ad, but I mean, it's Hemsworth, for God's sakes, dear Lord. I also will say there were two, what I thought were very important ads yesterday. One was the Epstein victims ad, which basically let people know they're still hiding and protecting. Patrick just said this to me right before we went on the air. I wish we were like Britain, where they hold people accountable for being around pedophiles and child sex traffickers, for being child rapists. That in Britain, they hold them accountable. In this country, every person in power on the Republican side is basically doing everything to pucker their cheeks together to try to make sure that no one ever gets held accountable, including Trump, who clearly seems to have raped kids and been part of that child sex trafficking. But hey, I'll just wait for you guys after he's gone, sit there and say, he lied to me. I'm the real victim here, as I defended him for years and said anybody who said he was bad at this was a dopey Trump derangement syndrome person. Yeah, exactly. So I thought the Epstein victims ad was pretty good. The Blue Square Alliance ad, that was the one where the anti-Semitic racism and the African American student coming to the Jewish kids side, and I thought that was a very powerful one. One of the most popular ones was the Lay's potato chip last harvest, which I have to put in perspective with what I think was the dumbest ad. You could talk about tone deaf. You don't understand who you're talking to on the Super Bowl. And that was the Department of Health and Human Services anti-processed food ad. Now, I mentioned earlier that Super Bowl Sunday is really a salute to two things. One I said is to television itself. The other is a salute to processed foods, because that's what, do you think it's natural that pizza that's got cheese in the crust that's something that's not processed? I mean, what Super Bowl party are you going to where the entire food spread is a bowl of apples and bananas? I mean, I've gone to multiple parties where I've been out there, and sure, there's a cheese tray with a few slices of apples, some grapes on it, fine. But, as that ad was on, I'm freebasing Velveeta dip. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're barking at the wrong tree here, dog. You just don't get it. I mean, half the ads advertised a free dessert pizza. Dessert pizza. Oh, we decided to come to the day where every person jams as much processed food in their mouths and say, you know what, you guys are wrong. You shouldn't be doing this. Sure thing, narc. Now, don't get me wrong. I think we all should eat healthier. Absolutely. And it is a travesty in this country that if I want to go buy fresh fruits and vegetables, that costs me a freaking fortune. Meanwhile, the jumbo tub of cheese balls is, $3 for $1. That is one of the reasons why we have the problem, is that the food that is good is way too expensive. And it should be cheaper. But you don't want to address that. You also don't want to address the fact that most of the people that bankroll the Republican Party really want people to jam down the processed foods. Because if all of a sudden you say you can't have processed foods, then people start saying, well, then I need to get paid enough to where I can afford fresh fruits and vegetables, and they're sure as hell not going to pay you more money. No, we all can eat healthier, but know your freaking audience at this point. It's wedge between the potato chip ad and the ice cream ad. Hey, let's eat healthy, everybody. Okay, fine, whatever. And, Mike Tyson, fine. He had an interesting story about his sister who passed away due to obesity. That's great. But in the sense being that it's a good message to try to get out there and people to eat healthier. I can understand that. But I think you spending that much money in taxpayer dollars to talk to an audience that just doesn't want to hear that on that day, yeah, I think you'd be better off doing what other presidents have done and gone into the schools and teach healthy eating there. It is the Matt McNeil Show.
I'm standing up for the middle class. Tom Hartman here on the Progressive Voice of Minnesota, AM 950, KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. I've been telling you about my friends at Snap Construction, who are arguably the most well-reviewed exterior construction company in the metro. Don't just take my word for it. Take a look at all their reviews online. Winter is the most cost-effective time of the year to complete your construction project. A majority of Minnesotans choose to have their work completed on their home in the summer when they should be enjoying the weather. As a result, the demand for labor in the summer is much higher. The most cost-effective way to improve or restore your home is in the winter due to the lower demand. Right now, Snap Construction is offering an additional 30% off of labor to the AM 950 listeners on your next construction project between now and the end of February. Call 612-333-SNAP and mention AM 950 for an additional 30% off. As always, Snap Construction stands by their work with a lifetime craftsmanship warranty. Don't wait to get a free estimate by calling 612-333-SNAP or find them online at snapconstruction.com. Financing options available.
Celebrate Valentine's with the perfect musical. The Chameleon Theater Circle is proud to present I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change. Bright, sexy, witty, and fun, this show will appeal to anyone who has ever fallen into the deep end of love and come up gasping for air. Shows run 3 weekends starting February 13th at Inver Hills Community College. Just Google Chameleon Theater to see times and reserve tickets. I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change with the Chameleon Theater Circle. Get your tickets now.
In today's uncertain times, Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces believes that a fire can add comfort and security to your life. At Woodland, our mission is to connect you to a place for fire that works.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces installed our wood stove years ago, and we still love it. Watching the fire, feeling the heat is a joy we experience every day. And knowing we have a reliable heat source makes us feel snug and safe.
There are many choices in wood, gas, or electric. For diversity and styles, at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, we display over 180 models, and 35 of these are burning displays. You can experience the glow and warmth of a live fire.
Whether wood, gas, or electric, find a fire that warms your heart, a fire that adds comfort and security to your life. See the many choices at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, located on the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis, and online at woodlandstoves.com.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces since 1977. For over 48 years, our slogan has been, out of the ordinary products and services. Our mission is to get you a fireplace that works in your life.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Today, cloudy with a high of 42, then tonight, mostly cloudy with a low of 30. Pick up your unforgettable box of French macarons from Nicolette's Macarons in Plymouth. Nicolette's is conveniently located off Highway 169 and 36th Avenue. Stop in at the store or place your order online at nicoletsmacarons.com.
AM 950, the Progressive Voice of Minnesota.
It's the Matt McNeil Show broadcasting. I'll give them the credit right now. Seattle, enjoy. Seahawks win. 11:50 a.m. KKNW in Seattle in the late night hours in Chicago. WCPT 820 Chicago's Progressive Talk. Bam! Blue Amp Media at blueamp.co on Substack. That's blueamp.co on Substack. And, of course, on AM 950, the Progressive Voice of Minnesota. By the way, it has been pointed out to me as well, and I knew this because I posted about this morning. The Trump's own Mar-a-Lago watch party of the Super Bowl, funny, they didn't flip over to the White Power Jubilee. They basically stayed with Bad Bunny on there. So, hypocrites, yes. This morning, okay, there came a point where I realized I need to address something here because there is this tendency in the left to not label things correctly. And as a matter of fact, historically, it's been a problem. And I'll get to that here in a little bit. But we need to be honest with what we're dealing with, because if we're not honest with what we're dealing with, well, we're not going to, this is how bad things happen. As a matter of fact, there was a great meme that was posted. Basically, the road to fascism is lined with people screaming, "You're overreacting." And I thought that is exactly right. I mean, that is exactly right. So this morning, I started looking around the news, of course, the coverage of the Super Bowl. And of course, multiple news outlets, The Hill, I believe it was Axios, things about the Super Bowl you should know. And number one on all of these, I think CBS had one too, was, Trump hated the halftime show. And I sort of said to myself, boy, that's an interesting one to lead with. Wouldn't you lead with the halftime show itself? Wouldn't you say, hey, the halftime show happened, and then in rebuttal, number three or four on the list of 5 or so things, Trump didn't like it. But no, they led with the Trump one. And all of a sudden I said, why would they do that? And it dawned on me. It's like, they're doing this because they have to report the truth. That Bad Bunny came on out and, did a very, lovely, good halftime show. But MAGA doesn't want to hear that. MAGA wants to believe it was horrible. And I'll get you the reason why. So what they do is the first one is Trump hated it, because they know that that's where MAGA will stop reading, if they read it at all. They'll read, Trump hated it. Well, I don't need to read anything else because as long as Trump hated it, now I hate it. And that is their mindset. That is their mentality. That is what they are doing. And that's a real tell. I mean, it's just, it basically, I think that's what you're seeing is they'll put the the anti-rest of us, the pro-MAGA stuff. I should put it like that. They'll put the pro-MAGA stuff as the number one topic because they know the MAGA guys won't read past that. And so they can then say, oh, Bad Bunny had a fine halftime show, and The Hill and Axios and these other right-wing news outlets won't basically end up, upsetting them nearly as much. Trump did slam the Bad Bunny Super Bowl halftime performance, an affront to greatness of America, in a lengthy post to Truth Social. Boy, what's that? Is that a dog whistle I hear? The Super Bowl halftime show is an absolutely terrible, one of the worst ever. It makes no sense. It's an affront to greatness of America and doesn't express our standards of success, creativity, or excellence. Wow, what a douche. Trump, he said that on Truth Social. The message of unity clearly did not go down well with the president. Nobody understands a word this guy is saying, and the dancing is disgusting, especially for young children that are watching from throughout the USA and all over the world. Hey, Donald, considering it's pretty likely that you raped children, you disgusting pig, shut up about what you're going to have another one of your beauty contests where you go out and on stage and gauge the viability of the young girls for the auction audience? You need to shut up, Donald, about anything to do with kids. You freaking perv. Shut up. No, Donald, shut up. Freaking pedophile. I have no patience for you. None. About you talking about kids. Dear Lord. And by the way, fine. You're going to drive them to Kid Rock, who actually has a song talking about statutory rape of minors. Yeah, okay. But it's this. So he spoke Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. I loved it. Why are you guys so threatened by this? Ding! Bad Bunny halftime show. We all should be united and love each other. MAGA the white power halftime jubilee. All those people are Satan, people trying to destroy your way of life. One of those was considered divisive. There's a tendency of not labeling things what they are as we go down this road. And we need to stop and reset and basically explain MAGA is not there for any other policy outside of racism. Racism is their driving moral code, if you want to call it that. It's their compass. It's their guiding light. Racism is the only thing that's important to them. Racism. It is. And there are people out there, and people in the Democratic Party are like, man, I don't know if I'd say this. No, we need to say this. We need to stop giving these people outs. When he says something about the affront to the greatness of America, for God's sakes, Adolf would say something like that, only with Germany in there. And by the way, once again, let's make another comparison to that time. There were a lot of people that watched as what was going on in Germany and the rise of the Nazis and said the same thing. Well, and it's not really fair to call them Nazis, on point back then. But, it's not really fair to call this about racism. Of course it was about racism. They are disgusting people that slaughtered the Jews and many other people and fought wars so they could kill the Jews. You have right now in this country, and I've got a front row frickin' seat for this in Minneapolis right now, a policy based solely on race. That's all about race. That's what this is. Stop giving them outs and validation by you yourself saying, well, I don't really want to call them racist. Well, they're racist, though. And I know that might make you feel uncomfortable or bad because your name. No, they're racists. This is all they are now. They're not fiscal conservatives. Have you seen the budget deficit? I'm a fiscal conservative. They lied. Budget deficit has exploded because they're not fiscal conservatives. They're basically opportunists trying to jam money into their donors' pockets. So the argument that I'm vote Republican because I'm a fiscal conservative is a lie. Christian values? Come on. They've actually gotten to the point now where they want to rewrite the Bible because they are so outside of the parameters of what anything Jesus taught that they basically have to create a new Trump MAGA Bible that eliminates any positivity or humanity from it and just turns it into all sin, 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 burn in hell, give your money to the wealthy people. So you're not voting for Republicans because of Christian integrity at this point. You're not, dear Lord, Trump can't give money enough to his buddies. You're sure not voting for him for small government. How many billions in taxpayer dollars is he giving around to his buddies to grossly expand out government at this point? Oh, you're for Second Amendments? Alex Preddy. You about freedom of individualism? Minneapolis. No, there is no argument you have made in the past about why you vote Republican that actually makes any sense anymore outside of racism. You are racists, and that's what this is all about. That's why you guys clutched your pearls and found your fainting couch about Bad Bunny doing a Super Bowl show. Because it was a minority who spoke Spanish. You're pathetic. You're all pathetic. And shame on all of us. Shame on all of us for basically allowing this facade to go on for any longer. There is nothing to this party outside of racism, 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 racism. They don't care about anything but themselves and preserving this racist ideology, which they're wrapping in Christianity and patriotism like it's some sort of virtue. They'll sit there and they'll say, Lake and Riley. Now, of course, what happened to Lake and Riley was horrible, but they'll use that to vilify every undocumented person in the country. I can do that too. Hitler. He was a big old white guy, so we should never try. Ed Gein. Oh, yes. How many lampshades would you like, sir? I can do this too. I can find I can find thousands of really horrible white people over the ages. Really horrible white people over the ages. And use that to vilify every white person. But you will quickly say, that's not fair. Screw you. You don't have any problem being racist as hell doing it the other way around. Because that's all you got is racism and bigotry. That's it. That's all you've got. You hate the Jews, you hate the LGBTQ community, you hate transgender people, you hate any minority. Ignorance, racism, bigotry, that is the guiding principles of the modern Republican today. Less than 14% of nearly 400,000 immigrants arrested by Immigration and Customs Enforcement for the first year back in the White House had charges or convictions of violent criminal offenses. Once again, the entire argument is we're only getting the violent criminals, only 14%. And most of those are just transferred out of prisons. And you know why? Because they can easily get that warrant. That warrant's a piece of cake because you have someone who's been convicted of a crime, judge will quickly sign off on it, they walk to the prison, they get the person, they walk out. Seen. But it's all the rest of these people who want to cook our food and take care of our kids and clean our gardens and scrub our toilets that you're yanking out of this country. Why? Your whole argument is, well, we get rid of them and then we'll decide who can come back. No, it's just you're racists. It's racist. It's time for us to end the white culture dominance of this country. And frankly, it's kind of long overdue. Because you know what? White people, let's have a come to Jesus moment, shall we? The treatment of the Native Americans, slavery, the desperate stopping of trying to vilify whatever minority group is the minority group du jour. The Haitians, the Somalis. That's what the legacy of white culture is. Dominance through racist principles and ideology. And then repackaging it that as, a moral cause. Screw you. As a big white guy here, I'm tired of this crap. I see the other side, and I can see a much happier, better world as opposed to your bitter throwback, which is just a rehash of the same things all over again, just in the last century. The white conservative movement embraced Nazism. Then they embraced McCarthyism. And then they embraced being against the civil rights movement and the Dixiecrats. And then the war on drugs under Reagan. It's the same thing, different package. And you do the same thing every time. Well, I'm just against crack cocaine. I guess you're not. No, everyone's against crack cocaine, but you basically are using that to justify persecuting black people. I'm tired of this. And yes, it is because this is the end game now. White cultural dominance has led us to the point where we are on the verge of fascism in this country. And if we don't sit down and stop worrying about it, we're going to hurt their feelings and call this what it is, we are screwed. It's racism, and I'm tired of it. And this proves to me more than ever that this whole antiquity of white culture dominance needs to end. It needs to go away because that's all that's left for these people. And yet they somehow are freaking in charge. Dear Lord, it's the Matt McNeil Show.
Blue Man Group's North American Tour is coming to the State Theater February 13th through 15th. Dive into the thrilling Blue Man Group experience, a blend of captivating music, interactive art, and audience engagement. Blue Man Group creates a fun, disruptive, and out-of-the-ordinary atmosphere that exhilarates the senses and uplifts spirits for audiences of all ages. Tickets are on sale now at hennepinarts.org.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. February is the month for love, so when was the last time you gave your carpet the love and attention it deserves? Maybe you've been procrastinating on the holiday post-mortem cleanup at your house. Are you worried if you got down on your hands and knees what you might see or smell? Not only is your carpet one of the biggest investments in your home, but it's also the largest air filter in your home. And what's worse, you're going to be stuck inside breathing this nasty stuff for months. Lucky for you, Zero Res is going to spread the love to you and your home. This month, get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $119 and take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Call my friends at Zero Res right now, 952-ZERO-RES, or go online to ZeroResMinnesota.com and say you want the AM 950 special. A 4.9 rating on Google reviews and over 21,000 satisfied customers can't be wrong. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
At cause-cart.com, every purchase supports makers, artists, and social impact brands, creating a ripple of good with every gift you give. From handcrafted jewelry and self-care essentials to one-of-a-kind art, find something beautiful that gives back. Shop with heart this Valentine's Day at cause-cart.com, where every gift tells a story of love and impact. And right now, CauseCart is offering free local delivery in Hennepin, Ramsey, and Washington County until February 13th. Just choose Pickup Option at checkout to take advantage of this complimentary delivery option. When you shop with CauseCart, you're supporting artists, nonprofits, socially conscious businesses, and yourself. Every item reflects a commitment to positive change. CauseCart uses biodegradable and recyclable packaging and invests in carbon credits. Shop with heart this Valentine's Day at cause-cart.com, where every gift tells a story of love and impact.
Hey, Chanhassen and Eden Prairie, it's Alex with Buzz Cut Mowing. Why wake up early, freeze, and shovel snow when I can handle it for you? I provide fast, reliable snow removal so your driveway and sidewalk stay clear, safe, and stress-free all winter long. Relax, enjoy your morning coffee, and let me do the heavy lifting. Visit buzzcutmowingmn.com today and make this winter easier, warmer, and worry-free with Buzz Cut Mowing, because nobody likes shoveling snow.
Get your hands on his cash.
It is the Matt McNeil Show. No, I am tired of living in, as a big white guy, let me be very blunt. I'm tired of living in a culture that thinks, coming together in unity is you shedding every bit of, well, unless you're Norwegian or German or Irish or Italian, those cultures you can bring with you. But if you're from Africa or Asia, any place, Central America, South America, well, you need to come up here and bleach your skin and dye your hair blonde and come and dress like we do and look like we do and talk like we do and eat like we do, and then we'll call you culturally diverse. I'm tired of this crap. And at this point, all this is a dog whistle. He's taken away our culture. Our culture. Bad Bunny is? No. He's just the most successful music artist in the world right now. We have to start realizing that what is holding us back as a nation is a reluctance to call racism what it is, racism, as well as also this attempt to hold on to some sort of power structure where white Christian men are somehow still the bellwether that all the rest of us trickle down from. And the reality is, and if you've studied any bit of history, most of the world's freaking problems come from white Christian men. They don't have a really good track record. And yet we still can't shake this. But we're at the point where the only thing left, the only part of the Republican left is the racism. And I'm sorry, if you're sitting there and you're saying, I'm still proudly MAGA, well, then I'm just going to call you a racist pig, because that's all that you're voting for them for. You're not voting for them for any other traditional elements of economy or society. It's just the racism. And let's just be honest. You know that. You MAGA clowns know that. But you're ashamed of that. So you try to hide and nuance it. And shame on the news media and shame on the Democrats for allowing them to hide in plain sight. When somebody sits there and says that minority is an affront to our way of life, every single one of us should tell those white bigoted jackasses, shut the hell up. Go back to your compound in Michigan or Montana or wherever you want to go. But shut up. It is just ghastly that we've gotten this far. And still today, we got Democrats like, well, if I say all the racists are racist, I'm going to look like I'm intolerant. Shut up and grow a spine. It's not like I'm doing this show in private, for God's sakes. If trust me, if you don't have the integrity of me, then what the hell are you doing in public service? Ah, God, I know me. Ugh, yikes. Speaking of yikes, speaking of Trump, Ghislaine Maxwell refused to answer questions during a closed-door congressional deposition today, prompting criticism from the House representative backing efforts to release the Epstein files. Who is she protecting? We need to know why she's been given special treatment at a low-security prison by the Trump administration. We're going to end this White House cover-up. She vowed to reveal the full, unfiltered truth as it relates to her alleged co-conspirator Epstein, but only under one condition, her lawyer said on Monday, of course. Maxwell is currently serving a 20-year sentence on sex trafficking charges and on Monday appeared virtually before the House Oversight Committee before being issued a congressional subpoena to testify. She refused to answer any questions, however, invoking her Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Her attorney released a statement Monday following the congressional hearing explaining why Maxwell chose to remain silent. If this committee and the American public truly want to hear the unfiltered truth about what happened, there is a straightforward path. Ms. Maxwell is prepared to speak fully and honestly if granted clemency by Trump. Only she can provide the complete account. Some may not like that what they hear, but the truth matters. For example, both President Clinton Trump and Clinton are innocent of any wrongdoing. Ms. Maxwell alone can explain why, and the public is entitled to that explanation. Maxwell is petition. Well, I mean, okay. In Britain, if you were just friends with these pedophiles, you're gone. This whole thing about you're innocent, even if you were just getting frequent flyer miles on the old, Epstein Island Express, you still were part of this. And once again, there is more than enough eyewitness testimony and accounts and claims of rape by Trump for me to buy this. I can tell you what Ghislaine Maxwell has. I can tell you right now is that Blanche went to her when they had this meeting and said, here's the deal. For as long as Trump is in office, you will have to stay in prison. But we're going to move you to a country club prison, get you a puppy, get all the stuff that you want. You just don't say a damn thing. And then the last second of the last day he's in office, he will sign your pardon and you get to walk out of here. But you need to remember that Donald Trump didn't, he was never in the files. And that's the deal. And so she's just partaking in this. That's the deal. Come on, we all know it, right? That's the deal. She gets the country club jail. She gets a puppy. She gets guards to prevent her from being attacked by other prisoners or anything like that. She gets gourmet meals. She gets all these extra perks. And all she has to do is keep her mouth shut until the last day that Trump is in office. And then he'll sign her pardon and she'll be able to walk out of that prison. And then she'll disappear. And eventually we'll find out, oh, no, she was lying about that Trump was very much involved, but still. That's the crazy part about this whole thing. She knows. Like I said, how many women have to say, Donald Trump raped me, before you say, hey, maybe we should listen to all the people who are saying that Donald Trump raped them? Because there are hundreds of people that have documented Trump's inexcusable behavior. Hundreds of people. There are police reports. There are court records. There are documents that all point to Trump being a horrible human being. And the entire argument that he gets away with this is nuh-uh. And somehow that's a viable counterpoint. And of course, all of his supporters will defend the child rapist and pedophile as long as they can basically say, as long as he keeps the racism going. I love the racism, so I'll stand by a pedophile every day as long as I might be able to use the N-word again in public. That's where we're at. Just super. All right. Chicago, Seattle. Talk to you tomorrow. Bam, and Minneapolis, St. Paul. Hour 2 up next.
AM 950 would like to thank everyone who joined and donated during our winter membership drive. Your support shows that Minnesotans still value an independent progressive radio station that delivers facts, not spin. AM 950 is locally owned, based right here in the Twin Cities, and dedicated to uplifting small businesses and diverse communities. At a time when some voices are being pushed aside, AM 950 refuses to be silenced. Please help keep progressive radio on the air. Visit am950radio.com and donate today.
Located just north of 50th in France, the Great Wall Restaurant has provided a delicious taste of authentic Chinese cuisine since 1981. Specializing in Szechuan and Peking dishes, they offer one of the most extensive menus in the Twin Cities. Favorites include hot and sour soup, pan-fried dumplings, and mushu pork with homemade Chinese pancakes. Stop by their Edina location or call for takeout at 952-927-4439. See the full menu at greatwallrestaurant.us.
Come on, you know it's true. Work is almost bearable when the Stephanie Miller Show is on. AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. In Arizona, authorities continue to search for Nancy Guthrie.
We are at an hour of desperation.
At Donahue Reports Today show host Savannah Guthrie has posted another plea on Instagram.
We need your help.
Guthrie's 84-year-old mother, Nancy, has been missing in Arizona for more than a week.
We believe our mom is still out there.
There is a looming ransom deadline set by her mother's purported abductors. She did not mention the deadline.
So I'm coming on just to ask you, not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson, if you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement.
Savannah Guthrie has said her family is prepared to pay for her mother's return. I'm Ed Donahue.
Jeffrey Epstein's former confidant Ghislaine Maxwell refused to answer questions in a video appearance before a House panel today. Saga Magani has details.
From the federal prison camp where she's serving a sex trafficking sentence, Ghislaine Maxwell pleaded the fifth during what was to be a deposition with Chairman James Comer's House Oversight Committee.
This obviously is very disappointing. We had many questions to ask about the crimes she and Epstein committed, as well as questions about potential co-conspirators.
Maxwell's trying to have her conviction overturned, and her lawyer says she'd be willing to testify that neither Presidents Trump nor Clinton were culpable for wrongdoing in their relationships with Epstein. Sagar Magani, Washington.
In Britain, the palace says King Charles will support police as they assess reports that the former Prince Andrew gave confidential information to Epstein. On Wall Street, stocks drifted higher following big rallies for markets in Asia. The S&P up 0.5%, while the Nasdaq gained 0.9%. The Dow added 20 points. That's less than 0.1%. This is AP News.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. February is the month for love, so when was the last time you gave your carpet the love and attention it deserves? Maybe you've been procrastinating on the holiday post-mortem cleanup at your house. Are you worried if you got down on your hands and knees what you might see or smell? Not only is your carpet one of the biggest investments in your home, but it's also the largest air filter in your home. And what's worse, you're going to be stuck inside breathing this nasty stuff for months. Lucky for you, Zero Res is going to spread the love to you and your home. This month, get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $119 and take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Call my friends at Zero Res right now, 952-ZERO-RES, or go online to ZeroResMinnesota.com and say you want the AM 950 special. A 4.9 rating on Google reviews and over 21,000 satisfied customers can't be wrong. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
Greg Bakken here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Today, cloudy with a high of 42, then tonight, mostly cloudy with a low of 30. Pick up your unforgettable box of French macarons from Nicolette's Macarons in Plymouth. Nicolette's is conveniently located off Highway 169 and 36th Avenue. Stop in at the store or place your order online at nicolettesmacarons.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Hour number 2 of the show here. I, by the way, have already had my first Race Trader. Thank you very much, you racist piece of crap. Yeah. Oh, happy holidays. When they say white Christmas, never mind. 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. Just once again for everybody out there, for trolls and people that come at me, on a planet of 9 billion people, where do you think you rank on any given day for me? Seriously, where do you think you're actually up there? No, you're somewhere around 8-9 million. You're really kind of the bottom of the barrel. So no, that's why I just kind of block you and move on. Bonjour, bon appetit. Patrick, I've got some exciting. Did you watch any of the Olympics after last night? I got some exciting news about the Olympics today, but did you watch any of the recap after the Super Bowl last night?
I did, yes. I watched that whole hour.
Did you? So you watched the skiing, which Breezy Johnson getting the gold, which kind of got lost in the whole thing with Lindsey Vonn. Breezy Johnson should get a lot of credit. She gets the gold medal for the downhill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That was a great run for sure. Of course, overshadowed by the very sad ending for Lindsey Vonn.
But did you watch the ice skating?
I did, yes.
Oh, my. That was the craziest. I mean, you don't usually see such tension. So it's the USA and Japan are battling for the figure skating team competition. So this is a combination of men's, women's, team dancing that basically they accumulate points, and then, you know, the winner gets the gold. Whoever accumulates the most points and wins the most categories gets the gold there. It came down to, it was a tie between the United States and Japan on the final event, which was men's singles. And the American guy, dear God, I mean, he kept doing quad jumps, and he did a backflip. He did a backflip on skates.
Yeah, the backflip. I was like, holy cow.
Do you think that the backflip alone, because that, if you look at it, with the Japanese guy comes on out, the American gets a 200 on a figure skating score. 200, which is like unheard of. Japanese guy comes on out and realizes, okay, I got to skate. He almost does. And as a matter of fact, I want to ask the question, do you think that the backflip was, because he did not, the Japanese skater did not do a backflip. Do you think that was the decider?
Very well could have been.
I think it was. I think Crash Bandicoot there doing the flips on the ice. Dear Lord, man, that's what got it. That was the difference. I want to give a round of applause to the Japanese skater. Mike, he went, I can't imagine the pressure he was under, and he gave out what should have been a winning score in 99.99% of tournaments, and he ended up coming in second. Unbelievable. That was crazy. Today, still not, we haven't had any more gold medals. We're kind of sucking canal water. We haven't had any medals. We've only had 2 medals so far. That one downhill one, and where was the other one? Oh, I'll remember it here. You know, but we haven't had a lot. Oh, that was the team. It was the team figure skating. That's the other second one. There it is. So we got 2 gold medals, and that's it. We haven't had any other medals. So we're kind of sucking canal water right now. but we're guaranteed either a gold or a silver with the mixed doubles curling because, and I watched this today, in the final round robin game, the United States lost by 1 point to Italy, but still qualified for the semifinals where they took on Italy again and then beat them on an unbelievable final throw of that rock by the Corey and Corey, and managed to knock out Italy and move on to take on, is it Norway or is it Sweden? It might be Sweden in the championship. I think Great Britain lost, was upset too. And so, yeah, the United States is going for gold. They'll get gold or silver tomorrow in curling, plus another bunch. I will say we added all of these kind of street edgy sports to the Olympics, like snowboarding and, fancy spinny skiing, and in the Summer Olympics, the skateboarding and stuff like this. And we suck at this now. I mean, why the rest of the world is absolutely dominating us in all the sports that we put in there because, hey, we're really good on this. And now we can't even get close to a podium on this stuff. All right, Julie is in Minneapolis. She's going to educate me on the ice skating backflip. All right, Julie, explain this to me. Was that the deciding factor that got us the gold?
Well, this is a situation. The backflip on ice has been illegal for a number of years.
Uh-oh.
And there's a couple of women that have done it like 20, 25 years ago, just kind of out of defiance. And I remember one of them, she was an African-American girl. I can't remember her name, but she got in trouble for it. But it supposedly can't be judged in points. It's more of a artistic element.
Okay.
But the American, he was fabulous. Nobody will ever be like the Russians were, 25 years ago. But yeah, he was pretty fabulous.
Thanks, Julie. I appreciate that information. When you're an authoritarian government and you basically can say you don't eat and family will die unless you win gold, it has a tendency of motivating you. Yeah, turn that frown upside down. There you go. That was amazing. That was good stuff. I enjoyed that quite a bit. Okay, so that aside, I do want to, the Super Bowl's over, and I want to talk to Vikings fans. Now, for the people out in Blue Amp Media, blueamp.co on Substack, that's blueamp.co on Substack. Wait, by the way, hi, guys. You guys are watching me. I like it when you watch me. Anyway, there's a lot of people in the city right now who are kind of beside themselves because, of course, Sam Darnold last year was our quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings, and we had a really good year last year. And for some reason, they didn't really even try to sign him, and he went off and he joined Seattle. And the argument was, well, he's going to cost too much. Yeah, but he's a 14-win quarterback, and he just did it again and won a Super Bowl, which, for the record, say we cleared out the space and we would have signed him, we'd probably had won the Super Bowl this year. And that's probably a reality. And to add insult to injury, the quarterback we drafted that was supposed to be our superstar, the Michigan pretty boy, J.J. McCarthy, we actually drafted him before Bo Nix, the Denver quarterback, who's now injured, but he took his team to the AFC Championship game. And so there's a lot of people in this town who are upset. And I want to just say to you guys, I can be upset. I would make this argument. They fired the general manager of the Vikings. They did fire him. Most of my experience being around sports is that when it comes time to spend money to keep a guy like Sam Darnold, that decision doesn't come from the general manager. It comes from the owners. And so I think there should be a question being asked on whether or not the owners were the ones that basically said, oh, we don't need a superstar quarterback to guide us to the Super Bowl for the next 5 years. But I don't think you should feel mad at Sam Darnold, because I think that if he had the opportunity to stay here and we were willing to match the price that he was going to get paid, he would have. I think he liked it here. Once again, he just does seem like a really nice guy. And in this day and age, that's good enough for me. I'm glad he got his title. And and more power to him. And I think Seattle definitely is going to be the favorite to win it again next year. And if he ends up having 2 or 3 Super Bowl rings, and we're sitting here once again waiting for, J.J. McCarthy was only injured for 12 games this season. If we're going to get another one of those things, well, get mad at the right people. Get mad at the right people. During the game yesterday, I don't know where you guys were all at, but I was locally here in the Twin Cities. There was a lot of lawyer ads. And lawyer ads, which really, I'll say, it just seemed like they were trying to say, hey, I'm still young and hip. Ugh, okay. I get it. You're successful. You're doing all these things. You can run ads during the Super Bowl, and that's fine. More power to you. But, what was the point of most of your ads yesterday? Just, it seemed like it was more about, the young hotties will think I'm kind of cute. Is it?
Do you have any tattoos? Yeah, I've got one right here, and it's just the company logo.
Yeah, exactly. I don't. Okay, fine. It's your money to spend. I mean, will your law firm win? I don't know. I mean, I don't. You look like you're ready for summer season on your boat out on Lake Minnetonka. I mean, off you go. Have a good time. But yeah. I like watching this. It's like, what is the point of all these ads? It didn't make a lot of sense to me. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. So I'm going to tell you what, I'm actually going to take a break early here. And the reason why is I want to get into something because something happened on Saturday in this town that makes me ask the question, okay, guys, what the F are we doing here? And it has nothing to do with the left or protesters or anything. It has to do with law enforcement and prosecutors and what are their parameters for doing their job at this point? 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. We'll take a break. Come on back. It's the Matt McNeil Show.
Hey, Francois, what are you making?
Bonjour, Laura. Je fais une carte de Minnesota en macarons de Nicolette's.
You're making a map of Minnesota out of macarons from Nicolette's? Why?
C'est pour la Saint-Valentin.
Oh, for Valentine's Day. And who's it for?
Tout le Minnesota.
All of Minnesota? That's so sweet, Francois.
Je t'aime, Minnesota, et je t'aime, Nicolette's.
I love Nicolette's macarons, too. Share the love at nicoletsmacarons.com, and happy Valentine's Day, Minnesota.
At Schroman Law, we provide more than just legal documents. We walk alongside our clients to ensure their wishes and legacies are being honored with every choice. And we do this while recognizing that this process can be emotional and weighty. Our team includes attorneys, as well as a grief coach and a published writer ready to assist with legacy letters and extra wishes to go alongside your healthcare directive. Contact us today to learn more at schromenlaw.com. That's SCHROMEN law.com.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067 or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
At Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, our job is to help you find a place for fire. Our displays include over 180 models in diverse styles, and we have over 35 burning displays. Come and experience the glow and warmth of a live fire.
Some say there are only 2 seasons in Minnesota: road construction and winter. Hi, this is Laura, and I agree there are 2 seasons in Minnesota: summer and fireplace season. I bought my wood stove for Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces in 2005, and every season after summer comes the time when we fire up the wood stove, get out our favorite music, and discover the warmth of fire. Our dog Pumpkin remembers the fire too. He stations himself right there, legs up in the air, just enjoying the warmth of the fire. With the wood stove, we are able to keep the main area of the house toasty warm, while the thermostat is set at an energy-efficient 64 degrees. Discover your fireplace season. Visit Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces today.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, out of the ordinary products and services since 1977.
This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, weekdays at 5 p.m. On our show, you'll hear about Native issues like treaties, protecting Mother Earth, and holding our elected officials accountable. Weekly correspondents like Dr. Stately, State Senator Mary Kunesh, Robert Lilligren, and Bob Blake update us with the latest news from Turtle Island. Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. Listen weekdays at 5 p.m. or watch the show on Native Roots Radio social media accounts. Ho-wah!
It is the Matt McNeil Show. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. So on Saturday, I checking social media pages. And once again, find me on Substack at Matt McNeil Show, on Blue Sky at Matt McNeil Show. That's my primary over at Blue Sky. Of course, you can also find me still on Facebook, which is Progressive Citizen X, Matt McNeil Show, and on Threads, Matthew McNeil 1, and I don't care about anything else. It makes those enough make my life way too busy. Anyway, I was on social media on Saturday, and there's this elderly woman from New Zealand who says, just when I was looking for some sort of inspiration, I see that the protesters in Minneapolis are throwing sex toys at ICE agents, and I realize the world is a good place still. If you didn't see what the protesters in Minneapolis came up with, we're talking, first of all, whose house did you raid to get all the sex toys? That is wow. That is, mountain climbing. There's a toe hold and a grip there. And yeah, there's a lot. They had barely boxes and boxes of these things. And anytime a car came on by from the Whipple building, well, let's put it this way. There was a shower of accessories that rained down on them. Like many days during the Trump administration's immigration crackdown in Minnesota, the anti-ICE protesters gathered outside the Whipple building in Minneapolis on Saturday. But this time, it was different. Hello. Dear Penthouse Forum, this happened to me. Dozens, perhaps even hundreds of sex toys were stuck in the chain link fence that separates protesters from the ICE facility. The sex toys were also thrown at passing vehicles that were believed to be occupied by ICE agents, and Hennepin County Sheriff's Office deputies were those among subjected to the thrown sex toys. The Sheriff's Office wound up declaring an unlawful assembly and arrested 42 people, handcuffs, you say, who allegedly refused to comply with the dispersal order. However, officials say the dispersal order was issued for reasons beyond the sex toys. Sure it was. So did ICE just confiscate all those sex toys? And what are you guys doing? Never mind. Hey, you be free with yourself. If it helps you on your journey, good luck with all that. While many individuals are peacefully protesting, some agitators have engaged in unlawful behavior, including damaging property and throwing ice chunks. Sir, that's not an ice chunk. The deputy was struck in the head. Oh, that's not good. A squad vehicle windshield was broken. Oh, that's not good. And this is not the first time our vehicles have been damaged in this location. Well, have you tried lube? No, I'm sorry. Bad, Matt. Bad. Sorry. Okay, for the record, don't throw them at people. That's kind of mean. And that follows back to my same parameters when those idiots were throwing the sex toys down on the WNBA courts. What are you guys doing? Don't do that. Also, if you damage property, well, then, yeah, you could be in trouble. So I think lining the Whipple building drive with as many sex toys as possible, that is a parade route I can get behind. Well, but I'm going to be clear. Let's be careful here. And they declared a problem here, and they sent the troops on out to round up the agitators. Oh. I hope you find someone to agitate with you tonight. Anyway, never mind. No, never mind. It remains unclear why the sex toys were used. Well, I know why. It's comedic ability. Video circulating online showed tote bags filled with them being hauled to the scene and handed out to protesters. Did they have a tutorial? Never mind. No. Meanwhile, a small contingent of so once again, they basically declared an illegal protest, right? Was that the term? An unlawful assembly, arrested 42 people. So because of the sex toys, and I'm going to feel some feelings of inadequacy, maybe. I mean, let's just be honest about it. 42 people. I love this city, man. 42 people were arrested. Now, once again, I am not applauding. Don't throw it at any human being. And you damage someone's vehicle, you're just asking for this to happen. But they arrested 42 people. Not all of those 42 people were damaging property or throwing them at anyone in particular. So, yeah, this is heavy-handed, you say. But it is. God, this is just one of those stories where I wish I wasn't tethered to the ground with these pesky rules and regulations from the FCC. But maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll do an unedited version of this for BAM a little bit later on Blue Ham Media. Anyway. So they did this. And once again, what they're saying is this: attacking other people is wrong. That's their standard, right? That's what they're saying. That they weren't, feeling inadequate and frustrated because of the, abundance of sex toys. That they were feeling like this was it was becoming too aggressive. God, there is just no way to go with this story, is there? Motion of the ocean, my friend. Anyway, never mind. No. But I'm just pointing out their standard is that this escalated from raucous sex toy prank to, okay, this is dangerous. We need to arrest these people. And they did, 42 of them. Meanwhile, a small contingent of pro-ICE individuals drove by the ICE protest in a U-Haul truck, pardoned January 6 rioter and neo-Nazi Jake Lang and others, including a man who recently threatened independent photojournalists outside of the Minneapolis apartment, stood in the back with bags of ice. The individual who threatened the photojournalist was holding a wooden cross. And at one point, others were caught on video spraying an unknown substance and firing a paintball gun into the anti-ICE crowd. Now, what they were spraying apparently was pepper spray and bear spray into the crowd. That's what they were spraying. These people who, once again, although they kind of seem like they're pretty close to ICE agents and fascists, are not actually law enforcement. They're just some sad people who saw a bunch of sex toys and felt very, 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 very inadequate and decided to open fire with a paintball gun and spray the crowd with bear spray and pepper spray. And it's on video. They're on video doing this. So we have evidence that they committed a crime. Assault. Funny, the news outlet here is Bring Me the News. They reached out to the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office of the Minnesota State Patrol to learn why the group in the U-Haul was allowed to shoot a paintball gun and spray people in a public area. Because the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office and the Minnesota State Patrol allowed these people, not government agents, not law enforcement, to violently attack these protesters and let them go, probably waving as they left at the neo-Nazi. Why? Now, this is a legit question. Why in the F did these people not get charged with a crime? We have them on video attacking people. This is called assault. Once again, if I am your legal, high watermark that basically if I can find it, then you should be able to. There is no excuse on the planet that the Hennepin County Attorney's offices, Federal government, Hennepin County Sheriff, State Patrol shouldn't have immediately arrested these people for assault. And yet, these people, one of whom is already been arrested and charged with vandalism of the artwork over at the state capitol, you guys laughed and chuckled and waved at them, and you did not charge them with a crime, even though they aren't on tape committing a crime. You guys wonder, let me put it, this is, by the way, piggybacking on another situation. The whole thing that started this, Nick Shirley, the Utah mama's boy, who was welcomed to Minnesota. I don't know if he was asked to be here by the Minnesota House Republicans, who wanted him to come here specifically to do a racist attack piece against the Somali community, which he did. And in the video, you see him trying to force his way into daycares, force his way to photograph children without parental consent. And yet, nobody has charged this man with a crime. I have brought the point up that if I took a Somali man out of Minneapolis and took him out to rural Minnesota and had him try to force his way into a daycare with a camera to photograph kids, he wouldn't have even made it out of the parking lot. They would have put 150 frickin' rounds in the guy, and he would have been dead in the parking lot, and it would have been labeled of deranged man tries to get at children. But yet Nick Shirley is on tape in child endangerment, trying to force his way into photograph kids, and nobody has tried to charge him with a crime yet. You guys wonder why there's a criticism of you, local law enforcement, when it comes to this whole thing with ICE. And it's this insane double standard. If, God forbid, somebody would have opened fire with a paint gun on the law enforcement or with bear spray on the law enforcement, you guys would have gunned down the crowd. You guys would have said, they're trying to kill us all. And you would have gone out there and cracked skulls and arrested every one of them and beaten them senseless and charged them with every law in the book you could find. Yet somebody drives past and opens fire on tape and sprays the crowd with bear spray. And you guys do nothing. You guys want us to say you should respect police officers. You're the ones who are showing the disrespect. It's this insane double standard that when a Republican does something that is clearly breaking the law, you guys shrug your shoulders and say, guess the libs deserve that one. It's only when conservatives are hurt that all of a sudden is we have a serious situation here and we need to make sure we're pressing charges. So I'm going to ask the Hennepin County Attorney. I'm going to ask the Hennepin County Sheriff's Department. I'm going to ask the Minnesota State Patrol. How in the hell is it you see these guys attacking the protesters and you didn't immediately pull them over and arrest them for assault? Why? Because if you don't have a damn answer for that, that proves why you're losing the public opinion battle. That right there. It's this double standard that you guys have. Well, it's just liberals getting attacked. Is it? Your job is to protect the citizens, even the ones you might not politically agree with. So you sitting and chuckling and high-fiving as the neo-Nazi is spraying down protesters with a paint gun kind of shows that you guys have a pretty bad double standard. Now, I don't know if you actually were chuckling and high-fiving. All I do know is you sure as hell didn't arrest the guys. And you sure haven't. Nobody has charged Nick Shirley with child endangerment. This is a textbook case of child endangerment. He tried to force his way into daycares that he was told he could not get into to try to film kids without parental consent. And you guys don't want to charge him with crime. This is not my problem. I just do what I've always done. I'm observing things. I see how things are going. You are the ones that basically are showing your own hypocrisy. And me calling it out is not my problem. It's yours. Do your damn jobs. Arrest the neo-Nazi boy, Ice Lang. God, well, he can only dream. Jake Lang. Arrest Jake Lang. Arrest everyone in that van for attacking civilians. Arrest Nick Shirley for child endangerment and charge them with crimes. Because you know what? If they were liberals, you sure as hell would have done that already. Shame on you. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. If I'm lying, I'm done, man. Take a break. Come on back. It is the Matt McNeil Show on your Monday.
Greg Bakken here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
Hey, Chanhassen and Eden Prairie, it's Alex with Buzz Cut Mowing. Why wake up early, freeze, and shovel snow when I can handle it for you? I provide fast, reliable snow removal so your driveway and sidewalks stay clear, safe, and stress-free all winter long. Relax, enjoy your morning coffee, and let me do the heavy lifting. Visit buzzcutmowingmn.com today and make this winter easier, warmer, and worry-free with Buzz Cut Mowing, because nobody likes shoveling snow.
Hi, I'm Mary T. Caring for others runs deep in my family. My grandmother, Rosa, was a nurse who cared for people in their homes more than a century ago. Inspired by her compassion, my mother, Margaret, and I founded the Mary T. family of companies nearly 50 years ago. Today, we continue that legacy across Minnesota, Wisconsin, Maryland, and Arizona, providing senior living, assisted living with memory care, home health, hospice care, rental housing, and support for people with disabilities. Each service is personal, creative, and focuses on the unique needs of those we serve. We also believe in joy and community, which is why we opened Crooner Supper Club in Fridley, a place to celebrate life with music, laughter, and connection. At Mary T., we're proud to be a Minnesota family company rooted in compassion, inclusion, and respect, and proud supporters of AM 950 and the values that this station represents. Visit MaryTinc.com to learn more.
Congratulations to Mary T, named one of the most admired CEOs of 2026 by the Minneapolis-St. Paul Business Journal.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. February is the month for love, so when was the last time you gave your carpet the love and attention it deserves? Maybe you've been procrastinating on the holiday post-mortem cleanup at your house. Are you worried if you got down on your hands and knees what you might see or smell? Not only is your carpet one of the biggest investments in your home, but it's also the largest air filter in your home. And what's worse, you're going to be stuck inside breathing this nasty stuff for months. Lucky for you, Zero Res is going to spread the love to you and your home. This month, get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $119 and take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Call my friends at Zero Res right now, 952-ZERO-RES, or go online to ZeroResMinnesota.com and say you want the AM 950 special. A 4.9 rating on Google reviews and over 21,000 satisfied customers can't be wrong. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res. With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, cloudy with a low of 30, then Tuesday, sunshine with a high of 35. Pick up your unforgettable box of French macarons from Nicolette's Macarons in Plymouth. Nicolette's is conveniently located off Highway 169 and 36th Avenue. Stop in at the store or place your order online at NicolettesMacarons.com.
You're listening to AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
It is the Matt McNeil Show. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. I still have a lot of questions. I mean, not only have these people not been charged with the crimes, but going back to that original Nick Shirley video, which is what started this whole thing. The Minnesota Republican Party did this to Minnesota. They're the ones that basically, Renee Good and Alex Preddy are dead. all these people's, their human rights are being violated is because the Republican Party of Minnesota wanted this to happen. They wanted this to happen. Who in the party called Nick Shirley to come do the racist hit piece on Minnesota? We know one of the Minnesota House staffers, so a state employee of the state, was actually working with Shirley and David. How many other state employees were helping to put together this racist hit piece? Who paid him to do this racist hit piece? Was it taxpayer dollars that paid him? We already know some taxpayer dollars clearly went to him because you had an individual who was working in the U.S. House or Minnesota House that was feeding him information. Who put together the clearly racist list of Somali daycares that were attacked by Nick Shirley? Who got that video to Trump? And did the Minnesota GOP leadership beg Trump to unleash ICE onto the state after the video came out, asking Trump to come in here and crack some skulls, shoot some people, put those libs in their place? Those are all questions that need to be asked, because at this point, this is not a private party issue. Somebody from the Minnesota House was involved in this, and a staffer, an employee of the state. Henceforth, this Pandora's box is now open. There needs to be a full investigation on who in the Minnesota House leadership basically had ICE come here to kill people in the streets of Minneapolis, because the Republican Party did this. And one of the funny things for them is the whole thing was to create a fraud situation, because they wanted this to be about fraud. Because ICE was so heavy-handed, because the DOJ basically wanted to go on an abuse of power, almost the entire attorney's office for Minnesota, all the guys that were helping the Republican Party have all resigned. And there's not going to be any fraud prosecutions out of the U.S. Attorney's Office in this state. The only person that's going to hold people accountable in the state is the Democratic Attorney General, Keith Ellison. And so this kind of spectacularly backfired, and they keep trying to scream fraud, 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 but it's kind of hard to hear you over the abuses that are happening to the people of Minnesota. Hard to see you with their blood in the streets of Minneapolis. Unbelievable. 952-946-6205. A few other things I wanted to make sure I mentioned because of the ICE raids here. First of all, Twin Cities home builders, and I've heard this. I've had some people who are listeners of the station who work in the construction industry, and they said, man, you would not believe how since the beginning of this year, nothing is going. All these projects are on hold. Unless you're paying like 3 times more than you were a month and a half ago, you're not getting your project done right now. Twin Cities home builders are falling well behind schedule as the federal immigration crackdown in Minnesota has fueled a shortage of roofing, drywall, other construction workers, according to developers and real estate agents. People are not listing their existing homes as planned because their new build homes are just not ready, said Redfin real estate agent Emily Olson. Well, it's not too soon to calculate the full economic impact. The shortage is further clogging up the residential real estate industry, which is already facing a sales downturn and economic uncertainty. It should be noted that this is part of the government's plan, is an economic, blockade of Minnesota. And there has already been dramatic decreases in the amount of traffic, amount of people going to businesses closing. This is an economic embargo on the state of Minnesota conducted by the Minnesota Republican Party. And it's not just affecting restaurants and small businesses in the city. Now the major construction companies are all just taking it in the trousers. Meanwhile, developers are saying they're losing out on rental income because they can't get contractors to finish rehab or maintenance work on units. ICE officers began showing up at construction sites last spring and summer, but this winter's Operation Metro Surge has intensified enforcement and fear at several workplaces around the Twin Cities during the January peak. At least 3,000 agents were in Minneapolis Minnesota at the time. The activity has severely decreased revenue for the immigrant-owned businesses and those that serve mainly people of color in the Twin Cities and affected hotels, restaurants, and other businesses that rely on immigrant labor, including construction, which brings up this point. Most of the construction companies, larger construction companies in Minnesota, and I'm presuming elsewhere, are run by people who are beat red Republicans. And I just want to say to all you guys that working in the construction, that own these construction businesses, how stupid are you? Your industry is based on undocumented labor. Did you really think that the racists that want to round up people because of the color of the skin were going to give you the mulligan because I'm a big donor? They don't care. The racists do not care. And it takes a pretty spectacular moron to sit there and say, I'm going to give money to the party that's going to hurt my business. You guys have all these Republicans that you've been donating money to on your Rolodex. I'd start calling them and saying, call off the dogs at this point because I need to keep my business afloat. And it's not going to be long before you start seeing major construction companies in this state start to collapse. Yeah, I need undocumented workers for my business. I'm going to go with the guy that says I'm going to get rid of all my workers. Genius. Genius. Dear Lord. And like I said, if I can figure this out, if the howler monkey in this studio, the chimp dancing can figure this out. Okay. Home builders sent letters to customers in January asking for their patience, citing the crackdown and the cause of the delays. ICE recently increased its presence in Minnesota. This is affecting the workforce in our industry and has impacted a few of our subcontractors. Subcontractors, they can't even get the subcontractors to call them back. You're calling the subcontractors. There's no one even answering the phone there. The decrease in skilled laborers may impact the build time for your home, said Keith Horkey, the vice president of Keyland Homes in Prior Lake, wrote in a letter. We thank you for your support, patience, and understanding as we navigate this challenge. Robert Thomas Homes president, Paul Grabow, said in a letter that ICE officers showed up uninvited to a Lakeville job site and demanded 4 roofers answer their questions. Company managers asked the officers to leave, but they remained on the site for hours. The workers stayed on the roof until the ICE officers finally left after nightfall. Wow. The incident disrupted businesses as false rumors flooded social media, followed by threats to workers, Grabo wrote. Nice job, Lakeville. Nice job, Lakeville. Hey, let's go threaten the guys that are terrified to come off the roof. Neither Grabo nor officials at Keyland Homes returned phone calls seeking further comment. Real estate closings and listings, especially among so-called starter homes, have been disrupted by the Twin Cities market for a while. A new report from Redfin says the construction delays have exacerbated the housing shortage. Closings of some new homes were facing delays of 2 weeks to 4 months. Dear Lord, you're trying to sell your house and you're being told by your real estate agent it's going to be a 4-month delay. Ugh. That's according to Redfin. Redfin premier agent Bridget Prue's clients canceled plans this month to put their existing Prior Lake home on the market to move to a larger new build. The builder, Keyland Homes, informed the client that construction would be delayed 2 months because the company shortage could not get roofers and drywall installers due to the shortage. 2 months. I want you to let's just think about this in a business thing. You are working on a project, and I've had construction on my house. As a matter of fact, last year, I can't tell you. Actually, it was not last year. It was right before the election in 2024. I had my driveway redone and I had my roof redone. And they got out there, and the day they got out there, they worked and they got out of there. I've had construction on my house, on the inside of my house. We redid some remodeling over the years. They basically, it's a long process, but when the work comes due, it's like 3 or 4 days. And these guys are skilled. They know what they're doing. They get in there and they bust their asses and they do a magnificent job. They really do. It is pretty impressive. So you have all this that usually happens. Now they're saying it's going to be a 2-month delay. So if your project was supposed to be done by the end of February, now you're looking at the end of April. And that's if this gets better, which it's not, because the Minnesota Republican Party down deep inside is going, yay, get the minorities, which they are. How long before it's a 5-month wait to get your project finished? That a project you were hoping to get done by the end of February isn't getting done until the end of August. Yikes. This is going to hurt a lot of people. Keyland Homes informed the client construction could be delayed 2 months due to the company could not get roofers and drywall installers due to the shortage. It's causing a lot of stress for my clients, said Prue, noting that it's not an isolated case. No, it's not. And on top of that, here's this. Louis Ramirez says he first noticed a car marked with electrical company's logo on January 28th. It was sitting in the parking lot of his restaurant in Shakopee, Minnesota, in the suburbs. It occurred to him that neither his business nor the laundromat next door needed electrical work done. He approached the car with two men in the front seat wearing white hard hats and green reflective vests and asked them to leave. 1 week later, the car was sitting across the street. Ramirez became convinced they were ICE agents in disguise. Well, not really good disguise, but this does check out. He confronted them while recording. You're going to tell me that this is what our taxpayer money goes to, he says incredulously in the video as the two men in similar reflective vests cover their faces with masks. People describing themselves as constitutional observers tell the news this week that ICE agents disguising themselves have flooded in from Twin Cities metro and rural areas of the state. Lee Stedham, part of the broader Observer Network, said it's possible that some of these reports are not accurate, but notes they are able to evaluate legitimacy based on known patterns and repeat photo evidence of the same suspicious people. They're seeing them undercover as construction workers. They see them coming undercover as Uber drivers. Are they a cowboy? Is the Village People? Are they going in disguise as the Village People? Why are those guys out in the parking lot doing those hand motions? Those ICE agents? What's with the sex toys? Never mind. Yeah. In Ramirez's case, he couldn't find evidence of the River Falls, Wisconsin-based electrical company advertised on the side of the car. They basically found a business under the same name closer to Green Bay, but could not find a listing in River Falls. I'm afraid that they were being followed. This is not the first run-in with ICE, according to Ramirez, who is an American citizen. ICE briefly detained and beat him in early January before returning him to the restaurant. So anyone who wants to get upset with us about the sex toys, yeah, okay. In construction industry, housing industry, come to a complete halt. And now they're running around in fake cars. But, if they're dressed like the Village People, I think they'll be easy to spot. Just put on, YMCA and see what they start doing. 952-946-62. How many sex toys were actually attached to the vehicle? I mean, that also might be a clue. Keep an eye out for that. 952-946-6205. We'll take a break. Come on back. It is the Matt McNeil Show on your Monday.
Crooners is a classic supper club with a wide range of entertainment. Make your reservations for a parade of international, national, and local artists in the main stage showroom, the intimate Dunsmore Jazz Room, or outdoors at the seasonal Belvedere Under the Stars space. Or enjoy Maggie's Piano Lounge. Enjoy 4-star food and drinks with first-class supper club service. What are you waiting for? Go to croonersmn.com for more information and schedule. That's croonersmn.com.
At cause-cart.com, every purchase supports makers, artists, and social impact brands, creating a ripple of good with every gift you give. From handcrafted jewelry and self-care essentials to one-of-a-kind art, find something beautiful that gives back. Shop with heart this Valentine's Day at cause-cart.com, where every gift tells a story of love and impact. And right now, CauseCart is offering free local delivery in Hennepin, Ramsey, and Washington County until February 13th. Just choose Pickup Option at checkout to take advantage of this complimentary delivery option. When you shop with CauseCart, you're supporting artists, nonprofits, socially conscious businesses, and yourself. Every item reflects a commitment to positive change. CauseCart uses biodegradable and recyclable packaging and invests in carbon credits. Shop with heart this Valentine's Day at cause-cart.com, where every gift tells a story of love and impact.
Blue Man Group's North American Tour is coming to the State Theater February 13th through 15th. Dive into the thrilling Blue Man Group experience, a blend of captivating music, interactive art, and audience engagement. Blue Man Group creates a fun, disruptive, and out-of-the-ordinary atmosphere that exhilarates the senses and uplifts spirits for audiences of all ages. Tickets are on sale now at hennepinarts.org.
Hey, this is Andy Otto, Executive Director of Twin Cities Pride and your host of Twin Cities Pride Amplified. Our community needs your help. Twin Cities Pride is collecting donations to help our local community in need. We're collecting everything from shelf-stable food to household cleaning supplies, infant care items, and personal care products at our Pride Cultural Arts Center. If you're looking to help, reach out to us at info@tcpride.org or just stop by 1201 Harmon Place in Minneapolis. It's our time to take care of our community and take care of each other all year long.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? You really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067 or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
Waiting at the airport, lost and found.
It is the Matt McNeil Show, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Two quick stories here. First of all, a sad one here. 22-year-old St. Cloud woman who's allegedly killed by her husband over the weekend is actually the daughter of a Minnesota gubernatorial candidate. Officers responded to a medical emergency at 8:20 p.m. Saturday in an apartment building, arrived to find 22-year-old Haley Marie Tobler, i.e. Johnson, of St. Cloud, dead of multiple stab wounds. Her father, Jeff Johnson, has suspended his campaign out of respect for his family and the enormity of the loss, according to an announcement from the Minnesota GOP. The woman's 23-year-old husband, also from St. Cloud, had life-threatening injuries, was taken to the local hospital where he remains in stable condition. He will be taken to Stearns County Jail once discharged. The news release from the St. Cloud Police Department says the investigators believe the man's injuries were actually self-inflicted, and he is the one that's responsible for his wife's death. So sad news there. Scott Jensen has decided to end his race for the governor as well. Now, this was the guy that was, for everyone out there on Blue Amp, Scott Jensen was at one point a moderate Republican. He actually had a really good bill to basically get cheap insulin to people that needed it. And the Republican Party made him forced him to vote against his own bill to kill it. And ever since that point, that guy's been broken. He ran around the state as one of these anti-COVID kooks that basically said, COVID, you should be able, it's violating your rights to not get everybody as sick as possible, one of those guys. And he actually was the nominee for the Republican Party 4 years ago in 2022 to be the governor, and he got trounced. And so, yeah, he was back, though. And I think he got hurt a lot by Mike Lindell entering, because he's kind of in that ilk now, in that extremist ilk. He's ended his bid for run for governor, but now he's running for state auditor. Okay. In last week's GOP precinct caucus straw poll, he did not perform very well, so he's getting out of the race. His campaign was also trailing in donations compared to other candidates. In a press release, he said he's shifting his campaign because he's confident one of the other GOP candidates for governor can win in November. Sure. Our biggest problem right now is broken trust in government. Yeah, I know. There's a bunch of idiots that brought ICE here to attack their own citizens. I know. I'm ready, determined to be the person who opens up the hood and looks at what the engine of our government is doing and not doing, and I'll fix it. I know. You're going to be like a lot of these people that has like 18 cars in your front yard because you think you can fix everything. And then you realize once you start fixing it, you have no idea what you're doing, or you try to fix it and it never works again. And then you just kind of leave it alone because it's too embarrassing you for acknowledge the fact that you didn't know what you were doing. So you plant flowers in it or something. Yeah, exactly. The state auditor oversees and audits the financial activity of local governments like cities and counties, not the state. That's something else. It's the cities and counties. The fraud scandal has captured recent news in Minnesota, which is actually audited by the Office of the Legislative Auditor, which is a different office. It's not the state auditor. There is already a candidate here. There's on both sides who are running for auditor because Julie Blaha, who's the current state auditor of Minnesota, is not running. Here's why a Republican would be a nightmare as the state auditor. One is they will not prosecute their buddies who are breaking the law. And that's just, this is what Republicans do. is that especially, and once again, the state auditor's job is to be a neutral arbitrator of who is and who is not wasting taxpayer dollars. And there are way too many, good old boy clubs out in rural Minnesota where there are people who are basically jamming taxpayer dollars in their pockets who will not be prosecuted because they happen to be a big donor here. We're not going to do an investigation into them, are we? Exactly. So, one, you can't trust Republicans to actually prosecute crimes because they actually have a track record of ignoring crimes in rural America. But the other thing is, too, is this is a person that actually kind of manages the pensions for the state workers. How would you feel is if all of a sudden one day a Republican took all the money in the state pensions and invested it in Trump's crypto coins? Yeah, and destroyed everyone's pension. Yeah, I don't think you can trust them. But I right now, I'm not sure how the Republicans think they're going to do, but I don't think it's going to be too well come November. Native Roots Radio is coming up next with Robert Pilot. We are back tomorrow. Until then, see ya.
AM 950 would like to thank everyone who joined and donated during our winter membership